speaking with Niloo Howe. She's the Chief Strategy Officer of Endgame. Thank you so much for joining us, Niloo.
Thank you very much for having me.
There's a tremendous boom happening right now in tech, but we're not really seeing a boom in women in tech. Why is that?
One of the issues we face in tech is that it requires funding. And women historically haven't had as much access to capital, and so it's harder to get into spaces that require capital infusion. But it's changing. So this past year, 15% of all venture funding went to women-founded companies. And
that's great news to hear. What are some of the obstacles women face?
The Kauffman Foundation has done a lot of research about women entrepreneurs in the technology space, and they've come up with 3 overriding issues that women tend to face. The first is lack of mentorship. So historically there haven't been a lot of women in technology, so there aren't a lot of mentors for women. And mentorship really matters as you try and build a business. The second is women tend to internalize their failures and focus on them much more than they focus on success. So this came up in conversation yesterday. Men tend to be confident and women tend to be confident. And the last, of course, is access to capital, which is incredibly important. And historically, it's been harder for women to raise money.
You've been on both sides of the table as an entrepreneur now, as well as being a venture capitalist.
If you compare the 2 industries, the dynamics are totally different. So on the entrepreneurial side, the ranks of women are growing so fast, especially when you look at the millennials who just don't see obstacles in front of them. When you look in the venture industry, the numbers are actually going down. Women are leaving the venture field. It seems that it's much easier for a woman to become an entrepreneur than it is for a woman to become a venture capitalist. But one of the great trends is crowdsourcing. So when you look at crowdsourcing models, companies like Kickstarter, 40% of the investors in Kickstarter are women.
It's interesting that that is happening right now. I mean, we hear in the news about Ellen Powell from Kleiner Perkins, and that kind of gender discrimination in the workplace. How do you combat the quote-unquote boy culture?
Gender bias is a big issue that as a society we have to figure out how to overcome. My view is we're going to overcome it. The women will do it. It would be great if society started demanding gender equality. So gender equality in the boardroom, gender equality in the executive suite, and on investment teams. And that's where the limited partner community, the university endowments, the public pension funds should be demanding that more women be in the ranks of partners in these funds. And you also have amazing women peeling off and starting their own firms. So Aspect Ventures, Teresa Gao and Jen Fonstad have started their own fund. They are just closing it. They're both Midas Touch investors.
There's been kind of this push with the next generation of girls to learn how to code. Why is that so important?
Historically, women haven't had strong presence in the STEM fields, and as you look at economic growth, one of the drivers of economic growth is technology and the boom in technology. We as a society want to see more people in the STEM disciplines, but especially women. By the way, those numbers are changing too. So if you look at the STEM disciplines now, somewhere north of 30% of undergrads and 40% of PhDs are women. They don't see the obstacles. They don't think the way my generation did growing up. They don't see an issue with women in boardrooms, on executive suites, as founders, as investors.
Who runs the world, girls? Well, thank you so much, Niloo Howe.
Absolutely.
We look forward to seeing what you have to put out.
Thank you very much. It's great being here and speaking with you.